Right, so we are now doing the brakes, and it has failed on a rear seal leaking, which, yes, I agree, that rear seal is leaking. It's also failed on, which I can't see yet, it could be the other side of the discs. It's also failed on disc being corroded. Now, I'd have to double check the sheet, I don't know if it's the left or the right, but that's what it's failed on. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to do the passenger side one on camera, because the driver side one, the one that's failed, the lighting's really bad this side, where I can just get to it a lot easier as regards filming. It's the same process, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, just on the other side, even though it hasn't failed. But because I'm changing the discs, you know, you have to take off everything, so you might as well replace everything, and you do it on one side, you have to do it on the other side. So let me get this up in the air and we'll start. Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Yes, we are doing the back brakes on this van when we had the absolute destruction of the DOE centre, who just absolutely put holes in everything, which I still think is wrong. But anyway, we are now doing the rear brakes because it has failed on this rear main seal leaking, which is fair enough, but it's also failed on this disc being corroded. Now, this is where I don't understand. Look at this. So we've got rear offside disc corroded. Now, I cannot see any corrosion on there at all. There's barely even a lip, and you saw the inside of it before. Absolutely fine. Hopefully you can see that now with no light. Maybe you need a light. Let's get a light. There we go. Look. I can't see. That's my fingerprints. I cannot see any corrosion there. So just another absolute joke, if you ask me. But anyway, I'm going to film doing the other side because, like I said, this side doesn't have a lot of light and it's easier for me to film the other side. This is one of them jobs that you think is easy and it just isn't. The stuff you need and the tools you need to do this properly is ridiculous. So unfortunately, the average person's not going to be able to do it. Well, not going to be able to do it correctly, and I say that in quote marks because all the armchair mechanics out there who say that, oh, you don't do something properly, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, blah 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 blah. There's a seal in behind here. You get 2 of them from Ford, and they're very expensive for what they are. They're 55 euros. Then you need the 2 rear seals. Then you need the 2 nuts, the 65mm nuts. They're very expensive from Ford as well. You've got a left and a right-handed thread. So, you know, you also need a torque wrench because that bolt is 425 newtons. So you need a 3/8 torque wrench, and not every garage even has a 3/8 torque wrench. Now I happen to have one. They are huge and they're expensive. So, you know, to do it properly, you know, you need all these tools, which is very, very expensive. I'm not saying there isn't other ways of doing it. I'm just saying for all them people out there who keep saying that, you know, oh, I don't do stuff properly. Well, you know, you don't necessarily need all the tools, but you know, it's very, very expensive. So what we need to do first is we need to undo these 3 bolts, take out the half shaft, which I can see from the looks of that is not going to be a nice job. As you can see, these have been absolutely butchered, and I just really don't understand why people just don't get the right tools for the right job. The only good thing is these are not normally tight because they're not designed to keep the axle in. The actual wheel stud bolts are. This just keeps it in place for you to get everything on. So the biggest screwdriver I have that I'm willing to hit, I've got bigger screwdrivers but I'm not going to smack them with a hammer, is this one. And I've got a vice grips on the end of it to try and give me a bit more leverage, but you can see I'm not holding out any hopes with this. Truly I'm not. Nope. Nope. Oh, this one's loose. broke. Oh, it's not even. Oh, it is. Right. Next one is a chisel. The chisel will move it. Nope. God, why has someone been at here? Unbelievable. Let's move the camera around. Different chisel maybe. Come on. Wow. That's tight. We need some heat. I'm still running out of gas though. Still not moving. Nope. Look, I'm not going to fuck around with that for any longer. All I'm going to do is waste time. I'm just going to drill them out. Just drill the heads off. Just enough to get this past. So just the head off. And then hopefully I can get some vice grips on the actual threads that's sticking out. This shouldn't be tight. The only thing making this tight is the head of the bolt. So let's try that. Right, it was funny, I did a video the other day on the older style transit and someone commented, because I was saying it's best to use dual drill bits for what I was happen to be doing. And they said, you know what, your drill bits, you're drilling too fast, you're doing this, you're doing... And I'm like, they're not even my bloody drill bits. They're nothing to do with me. Why do people say these things? Do you know, he's trying to be clever with this comment. They're not my drill bits. These are my drill bits. And it was 1mm steel. Anyway, just people. I think they're trying to be clever. Oh, that moved. I really need a left-handed. Did that break my drill bit? No way, that's a brand new drill bit. And a seriously expensive drill bit at that. Hold on, this might come out with a chisel. I need some left-handed drill bits I haven't got them with me. Aha! This one's coming out. pissed off that that's just taken the top. It has. Oh, fuck you. Bolt. Yeah. This is loose, look. I can't. Now, just one more. Worried about my bloody drill bit now. Too late, it's damaged it. Unbelievable. Now, just the head off. So now, this should be free. And it is. Just as I thought. Oh, of course, you're going to be leaking as well, aren't you? Got some rags. Just want to get this off. And yeah, just as I thought as well. I'll show you now in a second. It's a half shaft out. And just as I thought, look, this is loose. Because it's the head of the bolt that gives it its, you know, it makes it tight. Unless it's just completely seized in there, of course. Someone's been in here before and put some sealer in there. It doesn't need sealer. It just needs the right gasket. Right. Now what we've got to do is get the caliper off. And then we can take this bolt out. We can take the disc off. But the ABS ring can be a nightmare to get off. Absolute nightmare. So bear that in mind. Right, I'm going to take off the brake, or the actual brake caliper. 12 mils. Two of them. Smell the bloody gear oil. Oh, it's stuck. Oh, it's okay. That's that. Wire strips here. Wire strips. Pin. Yeah, take a look. What the hell? Why is hopefully you can see I'm just undoing the carrier, the second bolt. two 15 mils. Now I know what some of you are thinking, why didn't you just put a screwdriver in and push the caliper back? It's a screw-in type caliper, so you can't do that unfortunately. So I just kept getting the screwdriver in on both sides and then finally got it out. So that's now the carrier out, 215mm bolts. Now we need to get this 65mm bolt out. Now we have to stand well back because we need, still going, still going, still going, still going, we need this. And the nut on the left hand side, which is what this one is, this is the left-handed thread. So that's it, hit the lift before you do it. Just jump. This is going to be tight. Problem is the lift is in the way and I have to be careful the way I've got it jacked up. You can't quite see, but I've just put a huge extender on it. The same length as the bar again. Let's see what happens now. Wow, look at that. That's going to break the bar. Alright, let me try something different. Even though I don't think this is going to work. But it's worth a try. Whoa! The power! The power! You saw what it was doing to that big bar with me swinging on it. And my FACOM gun has just annihilated that. That's why I brought that FACOM gun, because at the time it was the most powerfulest gun, and I think it still kind of is. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know the people are going to say, well, the Milwaukee, but I've heard some horror stories about the newer Milwaukee has these 3 pins that go in just behind the drive unit here, and they're breaking. One person broke 4 in the car parking lot in America, and the manager came out and he was watching him do it, and all he was doing was undoing lug nuts. So yeah, they're not having a great time at the minute, old Milwaukee. But there we go. That's the yellow one, the left-hand thread one. This should now slide off. Just take the bearing out. Just get the bearing out. Didn't want that to happen. Where's that gone? Just to space that. Right, what I'm going to do now is just clean all this up with a load of brake clean before I get anywhere near it, because you can see it's just cake full of crap, and it looks like someone's come in here and put grease in, which you just don't do. Anyway, let me get cleaned up. Now this is the seal that's leaking on the other side, but I want to get this seal off so I can take the bearing out to get the ABS ring out, because you have to take the ABS ring off to take these bolts off. And the easiest way to do it, we're replacing it anyway, is you just damage it. So just no point being friendly with it because we're replacing it. I've only took half it off. You see all that red stuff coming off? That's the actual seal. Now, see all that? That's the seal. This is the bearing. Again, covered in grease. We need to clean that. Gonna leave that on that for the minute, out of the way, because I'm not worried about that for the minute. I want to get this nice and clean. This ABS ring to take off, believe me, can be really, really difficult. Right, we're on the bench now. With the vehicle that I'm going to be doing very soon, my own vehicle, I'm doing completely different to this. Look at the way I'm doing it. I have brought complete and utter hubs. Everything brand new. None of this, no trying to take out these bolts, no replacing ABS rings, no absolute nothing. I know people are going to say, well, that's too expensive, that's pointless. I guarantee you, if you want to, especially, not so much these, but especially these ones, with the twin wheel ones, for you to try and split all this, and if you get any issues with rust or anything like that, the extra money you're going to have to spend on labour as regards the parts, you could be at this for a couple of days. With the way I'm going to do it, I could change my whole brakes, bearings, everything, all brand new within a few hours, not even. So think of it and do what you like. I don't understand why people get so triggered when, you know, a customer, or in this case me, spending my own money on a lot of parts, where people get so triggered. Anyway, what we need to do is we need to get this ABS ring off. Now, you can heat them up and try and get them out. They don't tend to break, to be fair to them. They're just kind of snug on there. The easiest way I found, I tried pullers before. The problem with pullers is because unless you've got some really big ones, it just doesn't want to get in here, and then you need something to go inside here. So I got this slide hammer with this attachment on. Just see if you can see that. See that? Just that little nub attachment on, and all I do is I just get it in behind there and just a few little tugs. Then I go to the top. It's moving. Awesome. Bottom, this side, and just make sure it's coming off fairly easy, or evenly, sorry, not easy. Come on. And there we go. That really is one of the hardest parts of the job, because they can just be a nightmare to get off. And then you just, all the specialist tools you need, which is just frustrating. Right, and before anyone says, oh, you should tidy up, you should do this, blah, blah, blah. It's not my garage, so I can't be in charge of all that. Anyway, T50 to get these off, but make sure you clean all these out and make sure it is in all the way, because you don't want issues with these. And an impact's going to be your best friend in this situation again. Again, you'll see the video on mine. I don't even have to replace these bolts. Everything is new. Everything is already together. So in this case, I wouldn't have to do any of that. I would just take this one off, undo this nut, put the new unit on, put a new nut on, that's it. None of this would have to be done. Saves so much time. Oh, that one's tight. Right. Get the ratchet on that. Right, this is what we don't want. We don't want problems. Oh, wow. That is tight, people. I didn't put the full power of the gun on because I didn't want to break it. So, this is a bit more control. Oh, wow. Tight, to say the least. Now, sometimes you have to put this on a press to get this out. Not in this case. But we do need to completely clean all this crap up. Get it as clean as possible. I hate working in a mess. This bench is just frustrating. There we go. One old disc. All that work just to change a disc. I'm only halfway through. Right, what you want to do is you want to do all your cleaning first on every single side you need to clean before you do anything, because if you clean this and then put your bearing in, put your dust cap back on, turn this around, start cleaning this, all the crap's going to go in there and you're going to be in trouble. So get everything clean first, wipe down your surfaces, then start again clean. I have basically gone around this a couple of times just with the wire brush. I'm just going to quickly do it again just to finish it off. I've got a new wire brush on here now. That's it, drop the half shaft. That's clean. Let me just clean this down a little bit first. Before I do the other side, I'm going to clean all that bench because I just hate working in a mess like that. I don't know how people do it. I just want to get rid of most of this crap first. Most of the loose stuff. All this needs to be cleaned. The half shaft needs to be cleaned. This, oh, can you see? I'm pointing to, yeah, just here. All this needs to be cleaned. The bearings need to be cleaned. Everything needs to be cleaned. I'm going to use a slightly different tool to clean that. I'm going to use this bad boy from Sealy wheel maintenance kit, because what it does, which is really handy, it goes over the wheel stud, see that? And it still cleans it. Right, I'm going to do this a few times. I'm going to get some brake cleaner on it. There's no point me showing you. I'm just literally cleaning. You've seen what I'm using and you've seen how I'm doing it. Right, just look at the job that tool makes. It is awesome. And it's really funny because whoever did this originally sealed it and all the sealer gets caught in between there, and it's a nightmare. And then people accuse me of cutting corners and not doing a job properly, where I'm the person who goes out and spends the 55 euros on the proper gasket, so you don't have to use sealants. And yet, you know, I still get accused of cutting corners and not doing it properly. When I cut a corner or do something, I know it's because it's perfectly fine. I would never put sealer on an item that doesn't need sealer. I would use a gasket. And you can see all my time and belt videos, all that. I've said it all the time. Anyway, that's all nice and clean. That's ready for the disco to go on. I've now got to clean this. I've got to clean my work area, and I've got to get ready to reassemble all that together. Right, I've got everything cleaned. I've got the underneath of the cardboard cleaned. All my bearings are clean, everything is clean, ready to go. The disc on, make sure you get the disc the right way, because this is the correct way. That you don't want it that way, you want it this way. Goes down nice and easy. There was a load of copper grease on these bolts, so I'm going to do the same thing again, even though I've said it loads of times. But once these go on, we can then put our bearing in, put our new seal in, put it all back together, and then do the other side, the side that it's actually failed on. Now what I like to do is just let that settle there for a few minutes. I'm going to go around with the gun again, go around by hand, and then once I've done that, I'll turn the camera back on. Right, so that's all good. Make sure you get the right bearing, put it in the back, just drop it in there. It's all good. Now you can see this like sealer around here. You've got the spring and the seal inside, but you've also got one on the outside too, so you have to be very careful with this. These can be quite difficult to get back in. Now if you're careful, you can actually use the socket to hit that down. Where's my hammer down? What you'll see this red stuff kind of pop out as you're getting it in. Now, make sure, oh no, we're not. Yeah. Go all the way around. A little bit more here. And there we go. We are now completely sealed all the way around. We can put that back on there and get everything else back together. Right, just be careful. You can't really hit anything on this kind of gold lip. It's just it just doesn't take it. So this silver lip is where you need to be. But it's just nice just to go around double checking everything. You can see the glue squeezing out in some places, which is good. Just to double check. Alright, I think we're good to go. Now, turn this over. Be very careful because the new seal's there. Put it on, keep that as straight as you possibly can, because you don't want to put pressure on the seal. If you let this go, it will sag until you get this bearing in, and it'll just kind of hold it there a little bit for you. that bearing just kind of holds it, stops it from sagging. Oh, hold on, I didn't put the ABS ring on. Okay. Oh, maybe not. Oh no. Oh. We're okay. Haven't done any damage. Felt a bit stiff there coming out, but we're okay. Right. ABS ring. I've cleaned it up. Make sure it's going down evenly. Yeah! There we go. Yeah. You don't want to forget that, people. Alright, let's try this again. Straight, you don't want to damage that seal. Keep pressure on it. Now, there we go. Right. We get our new nut. Make sure you get the right one. The yellow one. Or in this case it's white, but yellow or white, and the other side is blue, because this is the left hand thread. So now what we need to do is 425 newtons. Let me get everything set up to do this. What I will do is just to get it there a bit more. Get as tight as I can with this, and then we'll move to the torque wrench. Now, look at that. Facom flexible head ratchet. I was just about to say, look, it doesn't move. But it doesn't support it with the ball, but it supports the weight. It supports when you get it in the right place. Look at that. Right, 425 Newton meters. Right, just look at this magnificent creature. This is a long wheelbase van, to give you a reference, that it goes halfway through into the sliding door. It's a Sykes-Pickering torque wrench. It's a reversible torque wrench, which is important, left and right, because sometimes they're not. Right, see if I can get all this in shot. Now, 425 newtons. That's the problem. There we go. Oh. I've just put this bar on just in case, and yeah, I mean, look at that. It's amazing. The torque wrench is twice the length of this. The torque wrench is about here, and it's amazing just that extra bit of leverage. It felt quite easy with that torque wrench, because obviously I'm not particularly used to this. I don't use this every day, so. But I know 425 newtons is tight. But yeah, so there we go. It's tight. Right, the one thing I've got left to do is clean the half shaft. I haven't done that yet, but that's not going to affect this. This is not like a normal paper gasket, like you would assume, you know, with them old style kind of paper gasket. It's kind of rubbery. It's a really weird I'm not saying you can't make your own. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but I know, I have heard of, especially the cheaper rear seals, the ones you get off eBay, they're not very good. A lot of people complain about them. Everything I've used so far has been genuine. So I'm just going to use the genuine seal as well. Clean the half shaft, put it back, then I can put the brakes on. Okay, we've cleaned the half shaft, we've got the new seal on, we've got it all torqued down. So I've got the new bolts, because obviously we know the old one was completely mullered. These are very expensive for what they are, and they don't need to be tight. Just use the right screwdriver and don't over tighten them, and then you don't have these issues. But anyway, there's the part numbers for people on playing at home. Let's get this half shaft in. Now we do have to be careful, because we do need to make sure we line it up correctly with the holes, which I think is actually there. And you kind of have to lift up the drive shaft to get it into the diff. It can be a bit awkward. Maybe spin it. There we go. Oh, that went in faster than I thought. Anyway, that's now in. Like I said, these three nuts or bolts, they're actually screws, anyway. They're not there to seal it. The wheel does that. They're just there to hold it on. But yeah, where is my What we do need to make sure is it spins, yeah. So it spins both ways. Right, so we know all that's good now. What we've got to do is put the brake back on. But before I put the actual brakes back on, I need to clean all this. So I need to take off all the clips, get a brake file in between them, so I'll show you all that. Give all this a good clean, but also take out the pins, grease the pins, clean them first, put new grease on them. So let me just get all this clean first. I'll do it off camera because it's just cleaning, and then we can put it all back together. Right, a brake file. They are absolutely brilliant. Just get in there, cleans all the crap off, all the rust. You can see even what a few seconds did. Look at the difference. So I'm just going to do all that. It's just cleaning, and we'll get all this back on, get all the crud and crap and everything off these, put the wire wheel on these, get all these nice and clean, re-grease them, and then I still have to do the other side. Oh, not good. Actually, that just needs re-greasing. That's nice and clean. Okay, got the brake carrier on. Now what we need to do is put the brakes on, but we've got a brand new sensor, so I just want to double check. It is on the bottom, so the sensor just clips. I say it just clips. There we go. Straight through like that. Goes on the inboard, or the inside. There we go. And this one doesn't have anything on. But this is a good way of knowing if you've got everything clean and perfect. You see how easy they just went on? No problem whatsoever. So that's good. What I've got to do now is take off that. I'll have to cable tie the new sensor along to where that one was. I'm using ceramic grease as my grease. I'm not putting grease on the brake pads. I've put it on the slide pins. Now what I've got to do is wind back the piston. Right, you can see the piston, and what we need to do is we need to make sure we line up the piston correctly. There's a little mark here, so the little one of these two ends have to mark up with this mark, because then that lines up with the little nub that's on the back of the brake calipers. Now you're not going to be able to see this, I don't think. I think everything's going to get in the way. I'll try my best, but camera angles doing this job, working on cars, can be annoying. Get you in there, you might be able to see something, but I don't think so. Release the pressure, put the pressure back on. There we go. I hope it's not seized. That's the wrong way. It's not seized, which is good. But it's fighting me. Come on. A bit more, I think. One more. I think that's it then. And line that up. Hit the mark. Release the pressure. There we go. Hopefully you saw that. You saw something anyway. I did try my best, but it is awkward. Now, this should go in, which it does. So we know we're back enough. Put the bolts back. Oh, yeah. What have I just swallowed? What just went into my dog? Right. So what I've got to do now is tighten them two 12 mils, connect my sensor, and that is job done. So it's one of them jobs that everyone thinks is simple, and it is simple, but you just need to do it properly. You need a lot of tools, and not everyone is going to have a big huge torque wrench. Like I said, there's a lot of garages, normal garages, that won't have that torque wrench. I'm not saying you can't just get a big bar and jump on it, but the crazy thing is, if I did that, then there'd be people saying, well, you can't do that, that's not doing it properly. Then if I do it properly, well, not everyone has them tools, how are we supposed to do it? Like, I cannot win. No matter what I do, I cannot win. So it's up to you how you do it. Buying everything new and just replacing hubs and everything is so much easier. I realise it's a lot more expensive, but as regards time, it's a hell of a lot quicker. But it's up to you how you want to do it. You'll see how I do it, especially on my van, and you can make your mind up whether it's wrong or right. But it's a lot more in parts, but a hell of a lot cheaper, a hell of a lot quicker in time. So you would need to weigh up your options. Do you want to spend hours upon hours doing it, you're not bothered about your time, cheaper on parts, or are you bothered about your time, you just want to get the job done? I'm not saying the way I do it is better. It's quicker as regards time, but I'm not saying it's better. It's just the way I like to do things on my own vehicle, but each to their own. Right, hold on, let me get out of the way of the light. Ah, there we go. So this was the one with the leaking thing, the one that's corroded, and you can see it was the leaking one because it's all wet. I cannot see any corrosion on any of these discs. Look, anyway, we've replaced them. It was leaking, but I can't see the corrosion on them discs. But anyway, what do I know? So I'm just cleaning all this. Get some torch on it. So it's all nice and clean, trying to get all the old oil residue off, because then they can clearly see it's been replaced, even though you can clearly see it's been replaced. But still, it's just nice to get everything clean, because then I even know, look, is it leaking? Is there another issue? Is there something else that's happening? The fact that it's nice and clean. So yeah, what I've got to do then after that is, which I will film, is filling the diff, because when one leaks, the diff oil coats these bearings. So it's important to have the right level in the diff, because if you don't, these bearings are going to overheat and you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So yeah, good to make sure that the oil level is correct. Right, it's the next day. I have driven this because I wanted to make sure there was no leaks, and as you can see, absolutely perfect. That was the side that was leaking. This side wasn't leaking, but because we've done all the work, look, we could have made a leak, but we didn't, so that was good. So all that's left to do is check the diff. Now, this diff oil is quite expensive. Let me see if I can get this in a bit better place for you. If it starts coming out, we know we've got enough in. The vehicle is level. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we got enough in. We don't need any more. Just gonna... Ah yeah, definitely, 100%. There's enough in there, people. Oh. Right. That's good. So our leak wasn't really that bad. But it's always a good thing to double check that. So there we go. But look, like as always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most important, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted.